Hello, everyone. This is Fernando Serpa with NextGenDiversity.com. I am happy to be with you again. The committee asked me to come back and answer a couple of the questions that we did not have time to go through last time we were together. And I said I'd love to. I think it's important that we continue the conversation around cultural intelligence and look at the ways it manifests itself in different situations. So let me go through a few of these questions with you today. They're great questions. So the first one, code switching is an interesting topic. How would you ensure that we maintain authenticity when we pivot to the situation without coming across as fake? Yeah, great question. First, I want to make sure that we are all on the same page when we use the term code switching. Now, code switching is basically changing up one's social behaviors, language, and sometimes even appearance to assimilate to the norms of a majority culture. Now, remember from our session that culture can be race, it can be also be organizational culture. And code switching can also go for religious identity, social class, or even sexual identity. So code switching goes into what we talked about in terms of cultural intelligence. So generally speaking, code switching is about finding effective ways to communicate with another person or group of people who are not like yourself. If someone speaks to another person in a language or with words that the other person understands, or in another style that puts that person at ease, the likelihood of making a connection with that person increases. So many people use code switching to alter their behavior sometimes in order to fit in or advance professionally. Now, as we talked about in CQ, this is actually kind of a skill set that can be developed and mastered, and either it can be done consciously, and sometimes a lot of people do it subconsciously. Now, like cultural intelligence, first you have to read the room, understand the audience, and then pick up on those cues quickly enough to demonstrate those cues back and make it appear authentic. But don't lose your authentic self. Your audience will know. They will evaluate you more negatively for trying too hard, if not done effectively and authentically. When a person code switches, why a person code switches really depends on the environment. Whether that environment encourages, strict assimilation, is that a culture where we all are the same and we do it the same way? Or is it a culture or environment that fosters diversity and differences and celebrates differences? So trying to find common ground with others is not harmful by itself. It becomes harmful if you have to deny your own sense of identity in order to do so. So the second question, what's the best way to help someone understand our cultural style? Great question. So understanding and accepting other cultures is really about keeping an open mind and a willingness to learn. And as I mentioned in the session, is, put ourselves out there, willing to take risks to broaden one's horizons. So the best way to help people understand cultural differences is to immerse them in it, to include them in as many experiences as possible. People learn more by doing than by just listening. So help them feel included. If you feel safe and comfortable, maybe not now, but soon, hopefully, invite them over to your home for a meal, and then have them help you and your family cook that meal together. That is always a great bonding and eye-opening moment. Sharing a meal, especially one from your culture, with another person from outside your culture, is a great way to start building that relationship or strengthening that relationship and sharing what that means to you. And then take them out into your neighborhood, to your favorite bars, restaurants. Go listen to music. that you like from your culture. And also, don't forget the power of storytelling. Over dinner, tell them your family history. How did your ancestors come to this country? What obstacles did they have to overcome? What has changed? What has not? There's a lot of power in sharing that family history, and you'll be surprised that there can be a lot of connections with people who have faced similar challenges or had to overcome similar obstacles, but who come from different cultures. So in almost every instance, the only thing that's required is really that first step, that introduction to bridge cultural differences. And you can provide that first introduction. You will be surprised at what it can lead to. Third question. How do you go about finding allies in different organizations, cultures that can help you navigate the waters? Well, of course, anyone who can help you to achieve your objectives is a potential ally. And we know that it is great to be able to draw on a network of supportive individuals, people who you can work with to exchange ideas, to find solutions, or just stand by you in difficult times. These are your allies. So let me give you 5 tips that I use that will allow you to build those alliances with those allies. First one is be supportive. Start by offering your support to others when you see that they need it. And if you're not sure what they need, ask them. The more openness, support, and positivity that you offer, the more likely they will lend you theirs. So be the first one to go out and support them. Second, nurture your allies. So one good deed, though, will not be enough to form a strong alliance. Alliances need to be nurtured. So engage with your potential and actual allies regularly. This will keep those connections, in a healthy state of readiness. So when you do need them. 3, along with that, communicate effectively. Open, timely communication is important for relationships to flourish. Stay connected. Do not just go to them when you need something, but have regular communication with them when you do not need something. Number 4, don't ask for too much. Now, it's important to be realistic about the level of support you expect. Your allies will want to help you as much as they can, but this doesn't mean that they are always available. Remember, they have to manage their own priorities first, and to them, those priorities might be higher than yours. That's okay. So number 5, don't take offense. When you or your allies occasionally have to say no to one another, remember the trust that you have built together. Do not, burn bridges by retaliating, such as, withholding your support in the future. If you have built up your network of allies across the organization, you'll be able to, if you don't get the support you need at this time, you can go to another ally and see if you can get the support that they can offer you. So allies, are everywhere. Anywhere you look, within the workplace and beyond, you will find allies. But it takes, a consistent effort to create and maintain those connections. And the strongest allies and alliances are built on mutual trust and respect. So always remember that when you are reaching out to your allies. Finally, I think we have time for one more. Number 4, do you have any tips to help us avoid falling into stereotyping shorthand, such as culture X impacts people in Y way, regarding the CQ knowledge section? Okay, yeah. I think we talked a little bit about this during the session, because we all know that cultural knowledge is just the first step. You gain knowledge of another culture to better communicate, to interact, and understand that culture. It should serve as a starting point. The key is to read the room, to have that adaptability and flexibility to be able to pivot into the culture or behaviors that are being exhibited. So your study of cultural knowledge helps you get to a point where you might know what to expect broadly, but most people are not one-dimensional. So be prepared to take a step back and view the situation with an open mind, away from the original, shorthand stereotype. And that way you will be able to adapt and communicate with the appropriate language, behaviors, skills that are needed for that particular situation. All right, I think that is all the time we have this time. But I appreciate being back with you. And if you have any questions or want to reach out to me, please feel free to do so. I can be reached at Fernando_Serpa1@yahoo.com. Send me a quick note if you have anything on your mind or if you want to learn more. All right, thank you all. I appreciate being here and have a great rest of your day.